So welcome to client attraction on social media. So this is where the rubber meets the road. So far, you've been doing a lot of inner work. You've been focusing on what it is you want, flexing that mindset muscle to be disciplined with your affirmations, your visioning, your journaling, and all of that good stuff. And you've been in creation mode. So you've got clear on your ideal client avatar, your niche, you've crafted your messaging, your signature offer. So all of that has been really, really great stuff. So now the real work in this module is taking what you've created and showing up and sharing it with the world. Now, over the years, I've invested thousands upon thousands in marketing courses, digital business programs, coaches, mentors, and in that time, I've come to kind of distill everything that I've learned and seen and experienced into kind of 7 key themes and principles that seem to come across as fundamental to your success in the online space. They are practically universal, they filter into everything. So to grease the wheels, before you fully dive into module 4, I want to share with you these 7 principles of success in the online marketing space as I've come to experience it. So there'll be a little bit of repetition from previous modules. You'll see these, but as you know, repetition is the mother of skill, as Tony Robbins says. And I really want you to imbue and embody these principles, because most of them are not one and done. So the first one is, of course, clarity. Now, clarity and alignment with your coaching business niche and your ideal client avatar is vital to your ability to market yourself and communicate your services and your value effectively. And I want to add in here that, again, this isn't one and done, because as you grow and evolve and up level, your ideal client avatar profile is likely to evolve with you. Also, you're going to want to craft new offers regularly and reach people at different stages of the journey. So in doing that, it's always important to continuously just check in and, am I clear? Do I still know who I'm talking to? Have I veered off track slightly? Do I need to come back to back to my lane, so to speak? So also being clear on what problem you solve, what keeps your ideal clients awake at night, means you're able to craft your messaging and create your solution to speak directly to those pains and frustrations. So you know this, but sometimes if you've been in your business for even just a few months after that initial kind of breakthrough clarity, we can kind of veer off and wander off into different directions and maybe get a little bit complacent and lose sight of the actual problem you solve. So it's really worth just continuously just checking in with your clarity and alignment. But when you're clear on and you're passionate about what you do and who you do it for, you tap into that positive energy that has mountain moving momentum and quite literally accesses your higher states of possibility, resourcefulness, and creativity. The second principle is credibility. Now, as you know, there's no need to be qualified or certified to start a coaching business, but there is a need to be credible in order to attract your ideal clients. Now, what makes you credible as the ideal solution for your dream clients? Now, you've already tapped into this in module 2 and 3, but again, it's worth just continuously checking in. Does your credibility come from your life experience or some particular challenge you've successfully overcome? Or is it your particular professional experience or specialized knowledge? Maybe it's the proven results that you've helped your clients achieve or that you've been featured and published for your area of expertise. Now, likely for you, it's a combination of all of these factors. But the important thing as well is not only that your ideal clients and your audience see your credibility factor, but also that you feel credible. If you don't feel credible and you harbor doubt in yourself and your ability to help deliver the results that your clients get, you're going to self-sabotage your best efforts to get in front of those clients that need your services. Okay, third principle is consistency. Being consistent in your message and your marketing means showing up every day, sometimes multiple times a day, across your chosen platforms. This is so important that your ideal client can find you and build that all-important know, like, and trust in these early days. If you're making a commitment to a specific measure of outbound activity, such as your number of blogs and emails, for example, then stick to it consistently. You know, there is no shortage of coaches flooding the marketplace, but as my early doors marketing coach, Louisa Jo, said to me, you will rise like cream with consistent and persistent activity, because so many coaches lose the will very quickly if they don't see immediate results. And actually, I see this time and time again. I suddenly get like my attention is suddenly grabbed by somebody who's showing up loud and proud, large and in charge. And all of a sudden, I'm like, my God, this person is everywhere. So my attention is drawn to that individual. And then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, they vanish. Suddenly I notice, like, oh, what happened to that individual? I don't see them anymore. They've gone. And then it may be a few months, and then all of a sudden they come back again, large and in charge, but their messaging is slightly different, or something is shifted in what they're talking about. So I know that this person actually is kind of flip-flopping from niche to niche. They're in a lot of fear. They're not showing up consistently for that reason. And so it starts to damage their credibility online, because I see it, so I know other people are seeing it. Maybe you've had that experience. Maybe that was you. I know for me, it was me in the early days. Be consistent behind the scenes too, with your daily disciplines and those habits that will keep you in a peak state, mentally and physically. As Stephen Covey says, you've got to sharpen the saw. I sharpen my saw every day. I read personal development books. I work with my coach. I'm reading business and marketing books, meditating, exercise, and self-care. Now, the other thing I just wanted to add in here, I've taken this screenshot from an article about how often should you post on the various different platforms. Now, I'll credit this source to Hootsuite, which is a scheduling software, and this particular image is from an article from January 2022. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is not because I want to show you the kind of the prescriptive number of times you should post. So it says here, Facebook 8 to 15 times per week, LinkedIn 5 to 10, or different for stories. Sorry, that's Instagram. LinkedIn 8 to 15 per week. These give you an idea, but this is from January 2022. So what I would say to you is, just give it a Google and see, like, how often should I post on my particular platform, and just see, you know, find some credible sources and research sources, because this may be out of date by the time you see it. But also the other thing is to find your own sweet spot. So when I've researched this article and I grabbed this screenshot, I also read the comments from people underneath, and there were people who were very sort of seeming established in their business, and what they were saying was very different from some of these particular sources of information. So these people had found their sweet spot. So I would suggest to you, again, this is one of the principles later on, is creativity. This is your business. Find your sweet spot. But it may be that initially you use the numbers that you're getting online as you know, from credited sources, credible sources, as a guideline. But I post at least, I have my VA who posts at least once a day for me on Facebook. And then the second post, if there is a second post going out, or a video that I'll create, that is a second post for me on Facebook. So very often I'm posting about 10 times a week on Facebook. In the early days, it was more, because I was also posting in groups, which is what I want you to start doing, because that's how you grow your business page. Okay, so that's kind of getting into the weeds of the next topic, but I just wanted to share with you that just you can take the initiative and just Google for yourself, for the platform that you're on, how often should I post? Okay. The fourth principle is contribution. Now, this was a hugely rewarding shift for me personally in focus. Now, when I was feeling desperate for money, I created content from a place of what will this get me? You know, the focus of all my activities was on getting clients. I was in lack mentality. I was frightened. I was desperate. And as a result, my energy was off. I became attached to the outcome. And so when nothing happened, which was inevitable considering my off energy, I became even more desperate and needy. So clearly a self-perpetuating downward spiral. Once I transferred my attention to giving value and contribution, everything shifted. I felt back on purpose, and my confidence and self-worth was fueled by my belief that my message was being seen and heard by whoever needed to see it and hear it. So ironically, this focus shift resulted in more inquiries from prospect clients because they were loving my authenticity, my energy, and my enthusiasm. So focus on contribution and giving, and you'll not only feel amazing and uplifted, but you'll also evoke the law of reciprocity. And you know, they say when you just focus on doing the activity, like shipping your content, create, ship it, come back, create, ship it, come back to your desk, create, ship it. No attachment to the outcome. When you can do that, you're in the present moment, you're enjoying the creative process, you're more in flow, thereby attracting more creativity. And then the fruits of your labors will take care of themselves. Again, this is a spiritual principle. When you're in the moment, you're taking action from flow, you're creating, you're shipping it without attachment. The fruits of your labors will take care of themselves. Okay, fifth principle is curiosity. Get curious and find yourself the most interesting person in the room. Now, this is about questioning everything about yourself, to peel back the layers and discover your authentic self. This is raising self-awareness. You know the idiom, know thyself. So it's said that if you want to learn about yourself and truly grow as an individual, then be an entrepreneur. We know that's true, right? There is nothing that I have ever experienced that is more confronting, that creates so much internal conflict than being an entrepreneur. So it's so true. But we also have blind spots and blocks that aren't always obvious. And this is where those subtle patterns of self-sabotage take over. And before we know it, it's been months since we've taken some action to grow our business, or we've fallen back into spending too much money or dipping into the tax account. And that's all forms of self-sabotage that may not be obvious in the moment, but we only realize it months later when, oh, I've got no money to pay the tax man, or whatever your version of the self-sabotaging pattern might be. When you feel triggered by something or someone, this is the perfect time to practice curiosity. Notice what is happening in your body and ask, what thoughts are behind these feelings? What must I be thinking to drive these emotions? If you're procrastinating or feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, what am I believing right now about this task, about myself, that is keeping me stuck? I've had so many breakthroughs about myself from getting curious, and this has helped me every time to up-level my business. And of course, what I'm talking about here is all module 1, your mindset work. So mastering your meteoric mindset. Now, leading on from mindset is, of course, principle number 6, which is courage. It takes an enormous, monumental amount of courage to push through your fears of rejection and judgment and put yourself out there in a really authentic way and market yourself and your coaching services. Everything can feel so personal, and it's easy to perceive any kind of rejection of your services or a rejection of your message. If somebody comments a bit negatively, it's easy to perceive it as a rejection of you, which to our nervous system is terrifying. So this, again, is where your daily mindset muscle flexing pays dividends. So spend time focusing on your vision, affirming everything you want to experience, and become as though it's already happening. Celebrate all of your successes and wins, no matter how small. And within no time at all, you'll start noticing more and more reasons to celebrate. You're also creating new neural pathways in your brain in favor of what it is you want. Become your biggest cheerleader, knowing that everything you want is on the other side of taking action and pushing through the fear. And there are exercises in module 1, the breakthrough triad to change your state. You've got the process coaching. So whenever you're completely triggered by something and you're completely identifying with the noise in your head or the emotions in your body, go and do the process coaching. You've also got the bonus module with all the coaching techniques, helping you to coach your way out of fear, coach your way out of overwhelm, coach your way past procrastination. So all the resources are there to help you tap into that courage and push through. And then the 7th principle is creativity. Be creative every day. Have fun with this. Being an entrepreneur actually means liberation from any should do's and ought to's, and growing a business that is about doing what you love and loving what you do. My biggest money months have come from showing up and just being myself. Sometimes, you know, I can still to this day get in the weeds as I'm about to hit go live, and suddenly I'm very much focused on myself and my fears and trying to be like the perfectionist instead of focusing on the message I'm trying to convey, the person on the other side of the screen. And so all of a sudden it becomes very disjointed and too self-conscious as opposed to higher states of consciousness. And so when I'm in flow and I'm having fun and I'm aligned, that's when I'm showing up and being myself, and that's when the biggest money months have come in. And I get the most joy out of creating content and coaching offerings that are a total embodiment of my gifts, my talents, and then being creative about how I market them. Everything I teach is really kind of frameworks for you to support you in these early days until you find your groove, find your way of doing things. Okay, so I really don't want any of this to come off as being a cookie cutter approach. It's got to be finding your way, and I can guide and mentor you around that and give you the confidence and the clarity then for you to kind of show up, as I say, large and in charge, owning your gifts and sharing it in the way that is using your authentic voice. Being creative also means being resourceful and in a state of open possibility to the infinite ways that you can attract new business and make more money. Now, I understand the importance of having goals. Of course, we've got to have goals. Goals tell our brain what we want, what we're focusing on, opens up our reticular activating system. The brain is a goal-seeking organism, so goals are essential. The one thing I do have some, I suppose, resistance around is actually creating such rigid plans around where the money has to come from. So, for example, if I see people who say, right, I've got a package, it is £2,500, that's my signature offer, and I also am running a group program, it's £1,000 per person. So every month I want 2, and say my goal is 10,000. So every single month I want 2 one-on-one clients, 2.5 each, that's 5,000. And I need 5 group coaching clients at 1,000 each. That's my 10,000 goal. And so they're so prescriptive about how that 10,000 has to come in. And I feel that that's taking it's too restrictive. It doesn't allow for the universe to show up, because if it doesn't work that way, if you know, it then starts to diminish your confidence. So it's about being open to how the money can come in. I've had clients, and from my own experience as well, who just set the goal of 10,000 and had a little bit of fear around, oh my goodness, how am I going to get that? But they had their offers positioned. And then because they were open to possibility, and this actually happened with one of my clients, in through the back door swooped a corporate opportunity valued at 10,000. She got paid 10,000 by I think it was Procter & Gamble to show up and do a series of trainings for their staff, because she was open to any way the money can come in. She had her goal, and she had the system by which that goal could be reached, but she was also open to the universe's, how the universe wanted to offer her that opportunity as well. So yep, 10,000 swooped in very easily. And I had a similar experience with a speaking engagement, a paid speaking engagement abroad that included all expenses paid. So I was flown to Amsterdam, I was put up in a luxury hotel, 5-star treatment, and I was speaking at a corporate event. And this was when I was a coach, so I wasn't marketing to corporate at all, and they weren't my audience, but I was focusing on speaking opportunities, but being very open and just focusing on how I wanted it to feel. And that's when this amazing opportunity came in that was bigger than I even imagined for myself at that stage in my business. So really being open with creativity to what could come in. Okay, so I also want to share something else with you about being creative and how you can throw out the rule book in so many areas. So there was a time when I was affirming a particular financial goal over and over. I was visioning it, and then out of the blue, I got an inspired idea on how to position my sales pitch. So this is how it works for you. So if you are focusing on a particular income goal, and it's not that the income might just suddenly plop into your bank account, you know, it lands on your doorstep, it's that you get an incredible idea. And as long as you take action on that idea, you get the hunch, you get the inspired download. As long as you follow through on that, that's how that financial goal, or that goal that you've been focusing on, is able to come in. So you create the pathway for it to just flow into you. So back to my story, I had this financial goal, I was focusing on it, visioning it. I got this incredible inspired idea on how to position my sales pitch. It was clear as day. I could see it, and it made so much sense. It was obvious to me. And yet, remember, I've been in sales for over 25 years. It actually went against what I had been practicing in all those years of being a mentor and a coach and a trainer in sales. So I implemented immediately because it felt so good. It felt so right. It felt so obvious. And as a result, my sales conversations improved, my prospects felt more empowered, and I can't imagine it doing it any other way now. And I've changed the way I teach for the next level of sales conversation. So this idea is probably not new. This inspired download may not be new. It's out there already, but I hadn't seen anyone do it. I haven't personally been taught it. It came from, to me, infinite intelligence. So this is, again, just a story around how we don't have to be so prescriptive. If you get an inspired idea, please trust it. Okay, trust it. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Imbue these principles. Let's crack on with the rest of module 4. If you've got any questions, please ask in the community, tag me, or ask on the Wednesday calls.